Hello and welcome to episode 40 of the FastHeartMart podcast. I'm your host, FastHeartMart. If you want to know why I'm called FastHeartMart, just look it up or listen to this episode where I explain where the name FastHeartMart comes from and the fact that I have to have a surgery, a pretty major surgery next week. And please don't come to any shows I've canceled all my shows for the next 3 weeks. So please don't come. If there's a show still posted somewhere, I think I took everything down, but if there's a show posted somewhere, don't come. And this episode is also about how crazy of a year it's been for so many of us and all the reasons why. Before I get into any more of what's going wrong with this year, let me tell you what's going right. I'll tell you, I have really good health. I'm in really good health. I'm really strong. I work out like 3 days a week or 4 days a week, and I eat pretty darn healthy, even though recently I've changed my diet once again to be more of a paleo or a keto situation, trying to move in that direction more. I think it's a long story, but as you know, nutrition is complicated, and we don't know what works for each of us until we try it. So I'm trying that right now. And my health is good. Overall, my health is really good. Don't be worried about me too much. And I have some really good friends. I have like a lot of really good friends. I mean, I think a lot of friends went estranged because of the pandemic and their differences of opinions of my beliefs and the vaccines and all that stuff. So I have faith those friends will return again. I think everybody's starting to get over it. So even though I don't think a lot of us are going to forget it, we might just forgive and move on or whatever. I'm not talking about forgiveness on this episode. But yeah, I have some great friends. My parents are great. They're coming out to help me with the surgery I'll have. I have good family. And my music's doing well enough. I'm paying the bills. Sometimes it's sparsely, but I'm getting it done, so that's good. And the weather's really been a little bit crappy here this year, but overall, it's a great place to live. San Diego is still a great place to live, even though it's been a lot more rainy than usual and kind of cold at night. And I have a great apartment, which you could see here if you're watching on YouTube or whatever. If you're listening, I have a great apartment. It's a small little place. I love it. My friend, he's a great guy. He gives me a really good deal on this place, and I've been living here for about 10 years, almost 10 years now. It's crazy. So I'm grateful there's a lot of grateful things to be thankful for. There's a lot of things to be thankful for. And so I wanted to start out saying that. I'm not like going to be like a complete downer here. There's a lot of things that I'm very grateful for. And the fact that I'm even here speaking on this microphone, it means that more is going right than is going wrong. But it has been a challenging year, and I'll get into that now. I also like to say I'm glad also I'm not in the gulag. I'm grateful not to be in the gulag. As some of you know, the gulag is where they held political prisoners back in Russia. Anybody who disagreed with the government got put into basically a concentration camp and a gulag. And a lot of them got killed or just wasted away in there and never were seen again. So I'm glad I didn't get put in the gulag for disagreeing with the mainstream narrative during the pandemic. So that's nice. That's always nice. Does anyone else feel like the late spring, the late winter or early spring tries to kill you every year? I feel like that every year. I feel like, feeling good in the summer, of course. Summertime is easy. It's nice and warm and everybody's chill, or you got to slow down because it's so hot. And then fall is really nice too because it's not too hot anymore and everybody's kind of winding down from the frenzy of the summer. And then winter usually is pretty chill. You can just hang out, especially here in California. It's not even that cold. You can just kind of hang out and make it through the winter. But at the end of the winter, going into early spring, every year, dude, serious. I swear it tries to kill me every year. I don't know. I shouldn't swear, but it seems like every year the universe tries to sort me out at the end of the winter and early spring. I'm always throwing some kind of curveball. And this year it was my heart. I had some issues come up with my heart condition, which I'll get into in a second. And that makes it rough. And also it's not just my heart. It's also the equipment. It's called a defibrillator. The wires need to be changed. Okay, so I'll go into it now. I have a heart condition. It's called long QT syndrome. It was something I was probably born with, even though maybe it was a vaccine injury. I don't know. It's debatable, of course, I'm sure. I think it's probably genetic, though. Um, I'm just going to forget about the idea that it's a vaccine injury. We're just going to assume that it's genetic. It runs in my dad's side of the family. And so, only reason I entertain the thought of things being vaccine injuries is because I choose to believe that God is a merciful God. I believe God does things for a reason, and I don't think He makes people imperfect necessarily just to like all of a sudden die, like with a heart condition or any other thing. But I know, of course, kids die, and it's a terrible tragedy, and I don't understand. I do believe in God, but I don't understand why God makes kids die sometimes, and so that's the only reason I entertain the thought of vaccine injuries, because I think vaccine injuries are the reason a lot of kids do have problems, health problems. But maybe not a lot of kids, but some kids have vaccine injuries, but they don't even know it, or their parents might suspect it, but they can't prove it. So I think vaccine injuries are a real thing. But I don't think my heart condition is necessarily is a vaccine injury. I think it's genetic, something I was born with. And when on my dad's side of the family, there was some sudden death. There were some people who died suddenly for no reason. Um, and when I started passing out at the age of 11, people, including myself, were wondering if I was just going to die. I mean, we didn't know what was going on, why I was passing out. This is before I was diagnosed with the heart condition, and it was still a mystery in my family what it was. And so when I was 17, I passed out in high school and fell on my face, knocked out both of my front teeth. Blood was everywhere. It was like right in front of everybody in the senior class. We were on the way to the senior class pictures. Um, and luckily there was a really good doctor there in town that diagnosed it. He said, I think you have long QT syndrome. It's a heart condition. Your QT interval on your heart basically is not, it's long. And I don't know, I can't explain exactly what that means. The heart is electrical, and it has these electrical patterns that it creates. All I know is that my heart it'll just start to fibrillate. It doesn't really pump. It just starts, your heart usually pumps blood. And then my heart sometimes, and it's not very often, but sometimes it'll just go like this and just fibrillates, just vibrates, and doesn't actually pump. And when your heart doesn't pump blood, the oxygen to your brain gets deprived, and you pass out, and you could die. I'm lucky to be alive. I'm very lucky to be alive. I was diagnosed with this heart condition when I was 17. They put in a defibrillator, which at the time was experimental, and I've been living my life ever since. It's been really rough, as you can imagine. This heart disease or this heart condition is really hard to live with. I had panic attacks for a long time. I didn't know if I was going to pass out and die. If I didn't know if the defibrillator was going to shock me. So, because this defibrillator, it monitors my heart and makes sure if I have a problem, it'll shock my heart. But when it shocks you, sometimes you're unconscious. A lot of times you're unconscious. I think I have it programmed now to where I don't pass out. It shocks me before I pass out, because every time I passed out, it's a nightmare. I fall on the floor or whatever, and it's not good. I can hurt myself. So they've programmed it to shock me before I pass out. I know all this sounds like a horror story, and it is. I'm serious. Like anybody who has this heart disease or heart condition, God bless you. I know how hard it is, and it's really hard to wrap your head around. For a long time, I had panic attacks thinking I was going to get shocked for no reason, because I've been shocked. The machine, even though it saved my life, it's also malfunctioned a few times where it shocks me for no reason. I got shocked 7 times in a row when I was about 22 for no reason. I was just walking my dog because the wire had broke and didn't know it. I was skateboarding and the wire had broke. So it's been really a lot to wrap my head around, and I feel like all my 20s were basically just a blur, or most of my 20s were a blur, trying to deal a lot with this heart condition. Certainly my late teenage years, 18, 19, 20. 20 is not a teenage year, but I wasn't allowed into the military. That was my plan. I was going to go into the military. I hated school. I did not want to go to college. And so I'm going to play a song here in a second. But yeah, I didn't want to go to college. I couldn't go to the military. And that's actually why I became a musician, is because I couldn't stand school and I couldn't go to the military. And I've been writing these songs since I was like 12 years old. And that was the only thing there was for me to do, is to play music and make a living playing music. I knew that was the only thing I would be able to really be happy doing. And at that, that's why I'm called Fast Heart Mart. So my heart it fibrillates really fast. It doesn't beat, and I could pass out and die. When I started hiking the Appalachian Trail in 1994, 95, that was my trail name, Fast Heart Mart. That's another story in itself, and that's where the name comes from. And when I started performing publicly about the age of 21, I really earnestly started giving it a go. I figured, why not call myself Fast Heart Mart? That's a cool name. I thought Martin Stamper would be like kind of boring, I wanted to have something exciting, like a rapper name or something. So I used my trail name, Fast Heart Mart, and I go back and forth. Now I'm like, maybe that was a bad idea. Maybe I should have just gone by Martin Stamper, because that's a good name. But I think Fast Heart Mart is a name I earned, and that's why I love it when somebody calls me Fast Heart or Mart or Fast Heart Mart, whatever. I feel like it's a name that I earned after all the suffering and stuff I went through with this heart condition. I had to learn how to deal with the panic attacks and overcome that. Learn how to deal with the fact that I could die at any moment. We all could, but especially somebody with a heart condition like myself. And just so you know, I've gone for decades without any problems with this heart condition. If I take care of myself in a certain way, don't get too stressed out, and do what I believe in. That's really important, to be passionate and believe in the life I'm living. It helps my heart. All this stuff helps the heart. Your emotions, I think, rule the heart, and that's why I try to stay emotionally balanced up here. And at that, I'm going to sing a song. It's called Chinese Restaurant. A lot of people like this song. I haven't played it a lot in the last few years because I've been playing mostly banjo, but I'm going back to guitar a little bit more these days. And this is not really a song I like playing on the banjo. It's not a banjo song. It's really a guitar song. I hope you like my guitar too, by the way. For those of you at home listening, my guitar is it's a Strat acoustic. It looks like a Stratocaster, but it's an acoustic Stratocaster, so it's a nice size. It's not too big. It's real thin, like an electric, but I can play it like an acoustic guitar, because I can't play electric guitar. I'm just not. I'm too heavy-handed for electric guitar. And me and electric guitars have never really gotten along, even though I've done it when I was a teenager and stuff. Played some distortion. Here goes a song called Chinese Restaurant, about living passionately and doing what you know you love doing, because one day it's all going to end. Everybody's going to pass away, I think. So that's what they say anyway. Chinese restaurant, eating fried rice, soaking up soy sauce, a zodiac for my placemat, gets me wondering. I play guitar and sing, I'm living my dream. So when the doctor tells me that I am dying, at least, just maybe, I can die happy, knowing that I have lived passionately, yeah. Bring me a bill with a fortune cookie. I forget to read, 'cause my poor wallet can't afford it. Now I'm washing the dishes. I play guitar and sing, I'm living my dreams. So when the doctor tells me I am dying, at least, just maybe, I can die happy, knowing that I have lived passionately. All right, thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed that. And yeah, I'm gonna try to keep this podcast going like once a month at least. And I think it's the only way of my future actually. With all my gigs, I'm playing at mostly farmers markets these days, which is great. But I think I need to get to a bigger audience here with this podcast, so I'm gonna try to do it. I'm gonna make a real attempt to do that this year after this surgery is over. I'll probably go live when I can figure out how to do that. Probably just gonna go live. That way I can answer questions and interact with people. Maybe take requests. They have requests for songs that I know, of course. So yeah. Anyway, so I'm gonna have to have this surgery next week. It's pretty major. They're gonna replace the wire that goes. It goes in through my main vein, and there's probably a lot of scar tissue in there, and so pulling it out can be kind of dangerous. So, yeah, say a prayer for me if you'd like. That'd be great. I had this procedure done in the year 2000, and it was the hardest surgery I've ever experienced, and I've had a lot. I just lost a lot of blood on that one. I was in there for a while. So, yeah. So that's happening next week. I'm really not nervous about it or anxious. I'm in the hands of God and the doctors. I'm just concerned I might go broke. I have to take off for 2 weeks after that. So, if you want to send some money, you can. I'm not saying you should. I have some money saved up and all that stuff. Man, this is crazy. Why can I'm already at 20 minutes in this thing. So anyway, the rest of the year has been kind of crazy too. Like I said, the weather's been kind of nuts here in San Diego. It's been rainy. I get seasonal affective disorder. Luckily, I've learned not luckily, but fortunately, I've learned how to deal with that, mostly through fish oil, vitamin D, supplements, exercise. I'm able to handle darker winters now than I used to be able to. And then the heart thing. My heart's been acting up a little bit. Like I said, I'm in good shape. Look at me. I'm in really good shape. It's just not. It's just something I was born with, and it acts up sometimes. And I think there's just been a lot of stress this year. Also, one of my best friends. I'm not gonna name her name right now, but she's like one of my closest friends, and she has the doctors say she has stage 4 cancer. And so she's been fighting that or dealing with that, and we're optimistic that she's overcoming it. But of course, it's been tough for her, of course, and all of her friends that care for her. It's like it's just tough because we want to make sure we're doing enough for her, and it's also tough just because you just don't want to see your friend go through that. That's why I feel anyway. I just feel like I don't want to see any of my friends suffering. I'd rather be the one to suffer. But anyway, and that's not necessarily true. But that's what I mean. I don't like to see people suffering. So it's hard. But she's actually doing really good. And we're optimistic she's gonna go into remission very soon. So she's definitely, if anybody could do it, it's her. So shout out to her. And what else? Oh yeah, something else that's kind of crazy about this. surgery I have to have. And a lot of people are probably wondering this, like, oh, here's Fast Heart Mart. He's like an anti-vaxxer or whatever. Of course, I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I'm just not. I just did not take that COVID vaccine, and I probably never will. I hope to never have to take that thing, just because the way it was done was just so. It was so messed up, and I don't know. Anyway, I'm not going to say too much about it, but I feel like people are like, well, he's an anti-vaxxer. Why is he going to the doctors and stuff? It's like there's a really good side to Western medicine, people. There really is, and I'm telling you that this defibrillator that I have, it was experimental when it came out, but not everybody in the world was getting mandated to get one. That's just like suspicious when everybody in the world is being mandated to get something. It sounds to me like somebody's going to benefit financially off of it. So anyway, this heart defibrillator that I have, of course, it was also it was a hard decision to make even at 17. I thought, man, maybe I'd just rather be dead than have a machine that's monitoring me all the time. That feels really weird, and that was part of the depression and the anxiety, all that stuff I had to deal with. So, but now I'm grateful to have it. It's a safety net, and it's there if I need it. And I think there's a great, brilliant side to Western medicine. Don't get me wrong. I just don't think people should be forced to do anything. And I'm not being forced to go and get this wire replaced. I'm choosing to do it because I think I want to keep living. I want to live at least, long enough longer than my parents live. I'd like to, I don't want them to have to see me go before they do. I think that'd be terrible. So, that's one reason, but I have plenty of reasons to live, of course. I want to keep playing my music is one. And hopefully people enjoy it still. I don't know. I think a lot of people do. I think a lot of people just like me. I don't even know if they really like my music. I think they just like who I am, and that's cool too. Whatever, I just keep playing music and doing my thing, speaking out, and here I am to podcast episode 40. Hopefully we keep going with this thing. And I just want to say to those people out there, if you're listening to this still, it's 24 minutes in. Sometimes life is a riptide, man. It just, riptides are these things on the ocean, on the beach. It'll just take you out. It'll just take you out, and you can't fight it because the more you fight it, the more tired you get and the more likely you're going to drown. Sometimes in life, when all this stuff starts getting dumped on you, you just have to surrender and say, hey, I'm going to go wherever this current's taking me. I'm going to try to steer myself a little bit. I'm going to go wherever this current takes me, and that's what's meant to be. And I guess I've had to get to that place right now, too. And I'm going to play one more song and then a joke. And this is a song I wrote for my friend. But I wrote it for all of us that are going through these times right now. It can be a very dark time right now. There's a lot of light, of course. There's a lot of positive things going on. I'm not denying that for sure. There's also a lot of challenges, and I think the reason I got into this whole game of being an artist and a musician is seriously, I just wanted to make people feel less alone. I really did. I just wanted people to feel less alone in all their pain, and that's why I keep doing this. Hopefully I can reach somebody or somebody gets inspired by what I do. I also just want to inspire people just to do what they love, just follow your bliss. And so that's what keeps me going. And this song that I'm going to play now is called Light the Dark. If anyone can light this darkness, darling, it is you. Doesn't often rain in this desert, but then it does, it will pour. Seems like when things happen around here, they come in a gigantic storm. There's been some awful news this year, but there's been some good news too. And if anyone can light this darkness, darling, it's you. If anyone can light this darkness, darling, it's you. I have lots of ideas of what your soul knows exactly what to do. I'll be here to see you through this, 'cause I believe in you. The gardener is pruning our branches. In the summer we'll have beautiful blooms. And if anyone can light this darkness, darling, it's you. If anyone can light this darkness, darling, it is you. Sometimes we have to surrender to outcomes and let ourselves be here now. Life, death, heaven, and hell, there's so many times in God's hands anyhow. At first we freaked out, then we thought about it, and we knew if anyone can light this darkness, darling, it is you. If anyone can light this darkness, darling, it's you. If anyone can light this darkness, darling, it is you. If anyone can light this darkness, darling, it is you. Alright, thank you very much. I hope you liked that song. I guess it was two kind of slow, sad-y songs today. Sad-ish songs. That's not supposed to be a sad song. Neither one of them are supposed to be sad. They're supposed to be inspiring. But sometimes they come across as melancholy, because sometimes you have to get melancholy to feel what's actually happening. Instead of just glazing over it, you have to go through it. And sometimes a nice melancholy sounding song helps you get in the space. And so yeah, we're very optimistic. I'm optimistic about my heart and all this equipment. And I'm optimistic about my friend who has stage 4 cancer apparently. I don't even know if I believe that. I'm not sure she believes it. We know she might have some kind of cancer, that's all, but we don't know if it's stage 4 or not. And then I'm optimistic I'm going to fix my car and everything's going to be fine. I'm optimistic the weather's going to be nice, and maybe I'll go spend next winter in Florida, because it looks like Florida might have better winters now. Who knows? It was just one bad winter, I know. Anyway, here's the joke for the podcast. Before the pandemic, it was called pre-pandemic, which is PP. And then now I guess we're in the post-pandemic, which is also PP, post-pandemic. So to keep them straight, I just say PP1 and PP2, like one being number 1 and number 2. You know what I'm saying? Basically, we're in the PP and now we're in the poo-poo. So I'm not sure if we're in the poo-poo anymore, but it's sometimes it feels like things have not gotten better since the pandemic apparently ended. Sometimes it still feels like it's devolving, and I'm hoping it devolves into something great. We all can basically realize that we're all just individuals, and everybody has their own beliefs, and we need to respect each other and be tolerant of each other. Alright, anyway, if you want to help out, I'll leave some links on the underneath this video or on the podcast episode. And thanks a lot for listening. See you next time. This is a 30-minute podcast. I hope it was entertaining somewhat, and I hope I explained everything. I think I did.